Hi, this is Johannes Eckerström, and this is Metal Prison. No escape! Well, the idea was there since forever, because we in the band always knew that the king was our king. And then it was just a question about feeling that the time was finally right to unveil the truth and tell the full story of our country. So it wasn't just a day where there was a light bulb getting up, whatever it's called. Instead, it was an idea that grew. It was a strong undercurrent, and at some point, the dam just broke. Well, the king is many things, and most of all, the king is what you need him to be and what you want him to be, just as the king wants you to be what you need to be and what you want to be. And it's hard to historically determine exactly what he is, because the way time is measured in Avatar country is a bit different than in the rest of the universe. You know, how music being one of the basic elements, especially metal music, of our country. You know how there are 3-minute songs that are so rich and important to you that their meaning spans out over your whole lifetime. Is that song then truly just 3 minutes long? And how about those fantastic 20-minute pieces that just goes like the blink of an eye, or the snap of fingers, obviously. With songs like that, you and time is warped, in Avatar country like that. Also the way we measure years. Right here in Budapest is the year 2019. In Avatar country, it's the year of the king, as was last year and the year before that. So it's hard to determine in Avatar country what is history and what is legend, and many times they are both the same thing. If we didn't think it would work, we wouldn't have done it. We know that there are people around supporting who wants to see this, so maybe if we give it enough time, we believe that we probably should be able to reach the goal. That was the way we were thinking. And then we were hoping, well, what if it's fast, what if it's whatever, you know? But we didn't truly know that. We believed in 50,000, because we asked for 50,000. But then, after a few days, when we had tripled our goal, it's just, you know, it blew our minds, and that we didn't expect, and we also weren't mentally prepared for how to handle it. It's just because it really, for me, I don't know, it was, how do I put this? Because ultimately, a Kickstarter campaign is about money, but it's also about support, and it's also about, you know, at the end of the day, I would even consider a huge part of it being about love, at least love for what we do, our love for it and our audience's love for it. And the Kickstarter campaign became this very bizarre place where love and money met in a way that I am not used to, because to the extent that doing music is a business, I think it's kind of fair and straightforward that, hey, we come and play in your city, and here's a ticket price, and if you want to pay that, you will come and watch us play, and that's the deal. Shake hands, everyone's happy. If we do a good show and the price is fair and people come and they like the show, everyone's happy. And you know, and that's a business. As far as I think music business, that makes sense to me. Like, we have practiced at home a lot to come and do a good show with the songs we have written, and if you like it, you can come. Simple. Kickstarter is not really simple, because we're asking for money, but we're not exactly selling something. There are the rewards there, of course, but ultimately still people showing support and love for our project with money. And I'm not used to view money like that. And then when the response was so overwhelming, I was, number one, very grateful and very happy. But number two, I was very overwhelmed, and it was a hard thing to process. Now it's kind of calmed down, and one thing I feel good about is that we spent it all. All the money we were given went into the film. So we have, in that way, I feel we have honored the commitment, and that was extremely important. No, yeah, aesthetically, I would say, especially me and Johan, the director, we are both very big fans of the silent movie era in movies. You know, at least the great ones. We have, you know, there have been situations where we have been the direction we have chosen for things for me to do, and for instance, Statue of the King, you know, swinging, trying not to fall off that big box. That's what's his name, Buster Keaton. You know, I'm not as good as him, of course. And if you look at Hail Apocalypse music video, of course, that is like a silent movie because it's an aesthetic and some form of storytelling, a way of using the medium that, yes, is old, but there are also amazing things you can do with it that really syncs up really well with what a music video can be. That silent movies and music videos, they fit very well together. I think actually my way of acting in almost all our music videos are very close to that very the silent movie era way of doing things with very grand gestures, you know. So no, we have taken a lot of influence from there, and of course Metropolis is one of the great masterpieces, and a great, an amazing depiction and illustration of the idea of a dystopic, high technological society, which I will not give away exactly what it is on that picture, but yeah, it's there's a dystopian high-tech society in there, and so Metropolis is a great source of inspiration for it. One of many things I find fascinating and inspiring, and that, you know, the power that is in metal music goes hand in hand very well with to have metal music be performed with grand gestures. The silent movie era was limited that you could not hear the people speak, they could not emote with their voices, so that to tell a physical story became so important, and that physicality, I think, makes a great marriage with metal music. I guess it's like that. Well, it will be. We haven't exactly figured out where it will be available to the public at large. We know that our number one commitment is to make sure that the small group of people who helped finance it, who made it possible, they will see it first, and they will see it as fast as possible. Then we want to make it available to as many people as we possibly can. So we will put it online in one way or another, make it accessible to everyone. But step one is to honor the commitment we have towards those people that made the film possible. What that exactly means, we're looking at different solutions, but that is our number one goal with it. And it's still quite a few months to go before it comes out. It's funny how just the stunts we ended up having in it, it's just funny how stunt hands became a thing. I am in one scene, and we'll see if people figure it out, I'm Tim's stunt hand, and a guy named Patrick who plays the royal cowbell player. You've already met him in The King Wants You. He's my stunt hand at some point. So keep your eyes open. That is funny to me, that those accidental Easter eggs just because of scheduling that happened. What else was funny? In hindsight, it's just the hard level of work that we put in it ourselves, and we still with, like I said, we spent all the money. We didn't waste all the money, meaning we were all running around moving lights and doing it very still. Everyone was very hands-on when they were there. Anyway, it's so just funny to imagine it. There was no movie star vibe from anyone there. Then it was also, I don't know what was funny about it. It was really hard. It took a whole lot of time in very uncomfortable positions. But it was a very fun and rewarding project all in all. But keep your eyes open for the stunt hands. by doing what we always do. It's up then to the listener to say if we beat it or not, or I will have my opinion on it. But the whole idea with Avatar, our mission statements as artists, is to always do something different, to always, find a new challenge. And I don't think Avatar Country tops Feathers and Flesh, but I also do not think that Feathers and Flesh tops Avatar Country. And that's the whole idea. It's, you don't, like this in Renaissance artist, I don't know if the statue of David tops the Sistine Chapel, but does the Sistine Chapel top the statue of David? I don't think so. So Michelangelo is just, you make what you're attempting to do is to make each work, each project matter as much as possible and have that be what that needs to be. So after Avatar Country, all I can tell you is you have to expect something completely different. And if you've been following us for a while, and if you're into what we're doing, you know this about us already, that we always try new things as much as we can while keeping it metal. In my case, I learned a lot of little things from in gymnasium, which I think here is also the gymnasium, right? The last part of school before before you go to universities and stuff. Yes. And in Sweden, I went to a music program there, so half of all my classes were related to music and performing. And there we had a course for a year that was more towards theater and stage performance, and I think I learned a lot of the basics there for what to do on stage. And then it's been trial and error, and then just looking to your heroes, like why is Freddie Mercury great, why is Michael Jackson great, why is Bruce Dickinson great, Rob Halford, you name it, and just trying to learn from the masters. Then in my case, what I put on top of that is, because I'm not looking to make 100% choreographed show, and I don't think you can say that our show is 100% choreographed, but you have these pieces that we have during our shows that kind of ties it together, and we know we need to get from point A to point C, but the B, that varies. Many times it's the same thing on many shows, but then B can change, or suddenly we get a new idea for C, so you change little pieces all the time. And there I'm inspired by, honestly, from professional wrestling and how comedians work, and different form of semi-improv ways of doing things. And I'm trying to find that perfect middle ground of being well prepared, having this great thing I can deliver, but at the same time, once I'm on stage, I want to be able to play around with it as much as I see fit. And then some shows it feels right to really just stick to the plan, and some shows you just fall off the cliff and go crazy with it, and it's different from night to night. But I dipped my toe in it, at least during the gymnasium years, and then it's just been trial and error and having done different things in front of people. Playing music, but also, I worked as a substitute teacher for many years, just to have when I needed that kind of job that was where I could say, I'm going on tour. So substituting was good for that, so it means I would be in classrooms, which is also a form of performance. So just knowing how to deal and learning how to improvise, you have your material to lean on, and then you want to be able to improvise on it. That I played some jazz music on trombone, I think helped me as well. Absolutely. But here's the thing with that. I'm really happy. We were on this particular boat. It's 10 years ago almost.
Yes.
And we never thought that it would take this long. It's just that our career has had its little bit of ups, a whole lot of down, and now a whole lot of ups. And the challenge is always to come and play for the first time. And in terms of headlining, and everything. This is our first time here, but that means, and people are showing up, which means that now we can build, it's a pure like business relationship thing, you know, with promoters and stuff, that now that we have been able to test the water, prove our value to someone, we will be welcomed back, and it will be, instead of just, oh, I hope we can go this time, I hope it's like, okay, so when are we going to Budapest? Now Budapest has entered that room where it's not a, you know, like, for instance, France started to go really well for us quite a few years ago now, and what happens is not, no one asks, will we go to France? It's not a question of if, it's when. And now that we have come here, we're doing this show and it's going to be awesome. We know that it's Budapest, it has not moved over to the when category instead of if. So yeah, it will not take 10 years until next time, I can promise you that. Very carefully and we're very particular about it. Now with Avatar Country, this whole era, you know, we have had, you know, one-man orchestras, different punk bands, sideshow freaks. Now we have again a one-man orchestra, like doing kind of this Irish folk thing and an Irish punk band. And all that is right now is that we really want to build the evening into something very special. And dynamics is an important part of that. So number one, we want the artists to be good, great, and I think we found great artists. And in the case of Dylan Walsh tonight, for instance, because he has a self-financed debut, it feels great to give him, I think, an interesting opportunity to play for a fair amount of people. Also a fair amount of people that maybe wouldn't find him on his own because he's not a metal band. But I still feel that he adds to our evening, that it really, because then the intensity in the music that the opening bands are playing, it will grow with the audience and will build towards our performance. So we always try to find opening acts that complement each other. There is no end of the kingdom. Like we might lose our king, but he always returns. That is, you know, the core message and the core idea of, for instance, our song King After King. We do our best to explain this. But Avatar Country is as timeless as the subculture and the style of music, metal. Because, you know, our music isn't bound to any current trends, or it isn't bound to being hip or in vogue. It can never go out of style, and therefore that is what truly makes metal music eternal. The same thing is true about Avatar Country and its king.
You